Hello, my name is Maxim and I'm DevOps engineer. Today I want to show you how to use inventory in Ansible. There is the two type of inventories, static and dynamic. Static inventory is used when you have predefined list of the servers on which you want to apply Ansible, and dynamic is used when you do not have this list of the servers and you need to generate it dynamically. So let's start by using static inventory. It's pretty simple. You can just simply create the file. Let's call it inventory. And in this file, what you can do, like the simplest way, is to just put the IP address. So I have AWS where I have two servers created. So I can take server IP and I can just put it right here. And this will be our inventory. We can immediately start using it. So let's try. So let's switch to the terminal. I'm going to run Ansible ad hoc command to demonstrate the inventory, and I'm going to use the module called ping. It will just check if there is connection with the server. Next, I need to specify with -e key my inventory file, and next I need to specify the group. Right now, I don't have any groups, so I would need to specify all. All means that all servers from the inventory will be used. Besides that, I need to provide some additional parameters such as private key, because I need to specify SSH key, which will be used to connect. And this will be my home folder, and I have Ansible. And also I need to specify the user, which will be used for SSH connection. I have Amazon Linux, so my default user is EC2 user. So now I can run the command. It's asking me if I trust this host. And after that, it should be able to reach the host if the ports open correctly. And yeah, as you can see, it's returned me Pong. Also, I can add multiple hosts, so I can just take IP of second host. I can put it right there, and I can run the same command again. And this time it's asking me again if I trust this host because it's trying to connect to the second host. So first host successful, second host is also successful. But that's not the best way how inventory can be used. A host can be organized into the groups. So let's try how it can be done. So I can create one group, for example, with name web, and I can create another group with the name DB, it's just databases. And now when I run Ansible, I can specify not the all, but for example, let me specify DB. And this time, Ansible will be executed only on the host from the group DB. But I can, as usually, specify the all, and Ansible will be executed against both hosts. In inventory files, I can keep not only the IP addresses, but also I can define the variables. I can define variables individually for every group, or I can define variables for each host. So now I can try to use here variable called Ansible user. This is the built-in Ansible variable, which said which user should be used for SSH connection. And I can copy this to the both. And once I set this, I can now run Ansible again, but this time without specifying -- user key. And it's still trying to use my user. I think I made some typo somewhere. Let me try again. Ansible _user. Okay, this time looks correct. Let me fix typo here. And let me try to run. This time run should be successful. Yeah, both hosts connected successfully. Sometimes I can, for example, I can have two hosts in the one group. And of course, I can specify the variables like this. But it's not very convenient way, because if this variable is changed, I would need to change it in the multiple place. So what can I do here? I can create the group variables. So to create group variables, I'm going to create one more group with the name web. But to the web, I'm going to add vars. And now I can copy this line from here and remove it from the both places. So right now I have web where I have not defined any variables and DB where I have defined the variables. I'm going to run against web. So this time was all. I'm going to change to the web and run. And this time it should also successfully read the value and apply Ansible. Also, I can create nested groups. So for example, I can create a web DB and I can specify this as children. Once I specify this, inside I can specify the web and I can specify the DB, but I'm going to remove this. Oh, let's keep it. So right now I have group called WebDB, which include both group web and DB. And now when I specify the WebDB, let's see what's going to happen. Ansible was applied on all of the hosts from group WebDB. Next, what we can do is to create group vars. So right now there is the one variable, but I can have multiple, like port, which will be equal some value. Can be some additional username like system. And there can be a bunch of these variables and here a bunch of different groups. And it's not very easy to use everything here. So Ansible has such thing as group vars. So how can I use them? To use them, I need to define the folder with the name group vars. And inside of this group vars, I can define variables per group. So there is two ways. First, I can do the folder with the name web, or I can do the just file. Let's do the DB. And inside the web, I also need to do file. I would call it as web, but it can be any name. So inside of those, I need to define my variables. Let's copy the same variables. I can do Ansible user for, but this time I need to not use equal sign, but use double quotes. And it will be value as EC2 user. And for the DB, I'm going to copy the same. And now I can delete all of the variables from this list. And let's try to run against web. Ansible should like discover that this folder exists. And inside of this folder, there is the variable which is related to the group web. And again, it's successfully connected. And just to make sure, I can change this user to some different name, which definitely won't work. And as you can see, it's tried to connect as EC2 user too, but was not able to connect. So another thing, this is the dynamic inventory, and it's very useful in the cloud environments where host can be recreated pretty often, or public IP address of the host can change. In this case, it's very helpful to use dynamic inventory. Because we are using the AWS, additional library is required, which is called Boto3. Boto3, this is the Python library which is developed by AWS for making API calls to the AWS. And we need this library to be able to dynamically discover the host on the AWS. A long time ago, dynamic inventories was as third-party scripts which you need to download. Right now, a lot of them is already included inside of the Ansible. So for AWS particularly, I don't need to download any other script. I just need to create simple configuration. So let's back here. So I have those inventory, and right now I'm going to create my dynamic inventory. I would call this as AWS EC2.yaml. And here I need to specify the plugin which I'm going to use. And plugin, this is the AWS EC2. Also, I need to specify the regions in which host will be discovered. And I'm using the region US East 1. So I will specify this region. And finally, I need to specify Boto profile. I have the Boto profile with the name default. Default. I think I may not have it, so let me create it first. So to do it, I need to go to the IAM. I have my user created here, so I just need to open my user. And for this user, I think I already have 2 keys generated, but I can delete one of them because you cannot have more than 2 keys. So let me delete this key. I need to provide ID, and I will create a new key, copy, and this key need to be replaced in the AWS credentials. So I have here, but this key is no longer active. So I'm going to replace this key with the new one. And same for the secret key. I'm going to delete this secret key and copy from AWS. This key is shown only one time. So if I lost this key, I would need to regenerate it again because there is no way to look at it again. So now once I have this inventory, I can run Ansible. And I would do the same what I did the last time. Same with the key, but this time I also would add the user, which is EC2 user. And as for inventory, I need to specify this YAML file which I've created, which is called AWS EC2. And I would do also the all because there is no groups right now. And it's asking me to trust. I'm typing yes. And as you may see, it's automatically discovered the host, but it's using not the IP address, but host name. This like plugin can be configured to use IP address, public or private, and it's asking me 2 times to confirm if I trust this host. But also there is very useful command which is called Ansible inventory. Not sure if I have it. Yeah, I have it. And I can specify my YAML file, and it should automatically, I can do minus list, and it should automatically discover the host. And as you may see, there is a lot of other information is available besides just the host name. So I can use any of those information. There is the host vars, which is available for a particular host, and for the second one. But right now, you see created 2 groups. One is all, which contain AWS EC2 and ungrouped, and also the group AWS EC2 with the list of the hosts. So right now it will find all the hosts. But what if I need to filter some particular type of the hosts? I can use the filters. So like the simplest filters can be something like this filters, and I can filter using the tag. So, and my hosts here on the AWS, both of them have the tags type web app. Let me change one to the DB. So right now I have one host with the type DB and one host with the type web app. So I can do tag type, and let's take the DB. So this time when I run Ansible, it should just discover one particular host, not 2, only which has the tag DB. Yeah, you see, just one host. And if you need additional information about the plugin, you can always type in the Google Ansible EC2 dynamic discovery, and you will see the documentation with all of the available options. That is, you can combine multiple filters. So there is a lot of parameters which can be set. You can create the groups, you can do the filters. A lot of stuff can be done here. And here is the examples, like the minimalistic example or like more advanced, how you can create additional groups, for example, like based on the tag, create group, and many other things. So that's all what I wanted to show today. Please subscribe to my channel to not miss next video. Thank you for your attention.